Guys, welcome to another episode of the Carnivore Evolution podcast, and we are live. There's a few topics that we need to discuss today. There's a few certain things that are going on in the world at the moment that myself and Victoria don't agree with. So the topics that we're going to go over today, guys, is metabolic stress. We're going to talk about these carnivores that are introducing carbohydrates again. We're also going to talk about if you guys are on the carnivore diet and you're struggling to lose weight and you've hit a stall, do you actually give up? Stop doing the carnivore, or do you keep going? And then we look at a different route. That's what we're going to discuss today. So, Victoria, how are you today?
I'm just fine, Mark. How are you?
I'm very, very well. How's things going over? It's happy Halloween.
Oh, yes, thank you. Happy Halloween to you too. The little addicts are out there looking for their sugar shots.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They,
And I
they,
see you got I see you have a new hairstyle as well.
yes,
Very,
lovely.
very nice.
Yeah, I
Very,
did
very
that.
nice.
Yeah. The kids won't take any chicken livers from me.
No.
I tried, even in a baggie, they won't take them.
Could you imagine the kids coming to the door? There you go, child. There's a ribeye for you.
Oh, they're sweet. They're good. Little butter.
Absolutely. Right, Victoria, there's a few topics that we need to discuss, and I think we should focus on this oxidative stress.
Yes, yes, and
Let's,
that's
because this is a big topic at the moment. Um, Now, when we talk about oxidative stress, how would you define that for me?
um I'm thinking that what the people who don't understand it believe is that ketosis creates an oxidative or metabolic stress
Yeah,
in the body, and that is supposed to drive up your triglycerides and drive up your insulin and drive up your glucose. But that is the furthest from the truth. It's actually the opposite. And I am
mm,
so surprised that so many people who are mainstream nutritionists think this way. They've got it backwards. They've absolutely
mm,
got it backwards
mm,
because ketosis is therapeutic and stops those things and prevents them from happening. So
100%.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, in my mind, when I think about oxidative stress, the first thing that comes to my mind is inflammation.
inflammation. Yes,
That comes
absolutely.
straight. So when I think about, okay, what's our optimal metabolic state? Is it in ketosis, or is it like giving your body sugar? Now, when I think about optimal metabolic state, I think of, okay, how are you feeling?
Yes.
Okay, how are you feeling? So in ketosis, we're all feeling great.
Hmm.
Name one person at the moment that's in ketosis and feels like crap. You've
Yeah.
had symptoms being reversed, mental health, type 2, fatty liver disease, and the list goes on and on and on.
Hmm.
Autoimmune issues, hormonal issues,
Yes.
metabolic
Yes.
issues. So when we look at oxidative stress, you need when people talk about oxidative stress and how it's caused and how it elevates blood sugar, you need to explain to me, okay, what are you talking about here? Because for me, when I take on clients, the first thing they're coming to me is they're coming from a broken system. They're overtraining, they're under eating, they're counting calories, they've got a hectic lifestyle. This is this.
Hmm.
Guess what? This is all doing. This is all causing stress. Now,
Yes.
if you have all these factors in your life, like I said, you're doing the under eating, you're overtraining, you've got a hectic lifestyle, you've got a hectic work life. Guess what's happening to your stress? It's going up. It's
Yes.
going up. Now, if your stress levels go up, guess what's happened to your blood sugar?
It's
It's going
going.
up. Now,
Yes.
now when we look, let's put them all together. So let's say if someone's coming to me and they're under eating and they're going to the gym and they're putting a lot of stress in their body by doing too much volume or doing too much
Hmm.
cardio,
Hmm.
that's gonna ramp up their appetite and their
Yes.
blood sugars are going to increase.
Hmm.
Now the argument on the other side is that oxidative stress and carnivore are going hand in hand.
No, 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 no.
So
That's
this
not how
this is
it's
where
working.
this is
No.
where this is where the confusion is now. So
Well,
this
the
this is
key
where yeah
ingredient is the
yeah
glucose.
yeah. So that's what I'm
That's
saying. Like when we look
that's
at
that's the cocktail. It's in the cocktail. Yeah.
yeah. So if your glucose goes up, your A1C goes up on carnivore. Let's say it's around 5.56, but you come back to me and say to me, Mark, but yeah, my numbers are high. but I feel fantastic. I feel amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any inflammation. I've no brain
Mm-hmm.
fog. Then I'm gonna say to you, okay, Victoria, what's the problem? Now,
Well,
if we were eating a standard diet and let's say our lifestyle was crap, and I said the same thing to you, okay, you're having these elevated blood sugars, and then you got back to me and saying, Mark, I don't feel good. I feel crap. There's a difference there.
yes, yes, that's the key. That's the keystone. That's the
Yeah.
basis.
So that's what I'm saying. When people are saying oxidative stress, you need to define to me what you actually mean by that.
Yes.
Because I'm sorry,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't just say to me that oxidative stress and carnivore go hand in hand when there's millions of people out there at the
No,
moment that
no.
will tell you otherwise, where they've been on carnivore, they've been able to lower their blood sugar, they're in a way better metabolic state, and they're feeling fantastic about themselves.
I think what's confusing people in the mainstream is that there may be an elevation of cortisol.
Yeah.
And this is not a chronic, acute elevation.
Mm,
It's hand in glove with the energy process of ketosis. And it's not elevated, it doesn't spike, it's not escalated. It's an even keel thing that brings you to a certain point for the whole dynamic metabolic process to happen.
mm, mm,
So that's their confusion. They hear the word cortisol and they
mm.
think, oh, there's a panic going on.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
not true. And Ben Bickman will explain this. He has a video, it's his number 122 on YouTube in his metabolic series under his name, Ben Bickman,
Mm,
Bikman. And he will
mm,
tell you he is a highly regarded researcher and an expert in this topic. And I
mm.
think that's where people are going wrong. They hear cortisol and they
Yeah.
panic. It's not the cortisol, it's the glucose, and it's nothing to be concerned about.
Hmm.
It's actually helping you.
Yeah. See, the thing is, like you said, if cortisol goes up, that's not necessarily a good thing, or that's not necessarily a bad thing,
Bad.
because
Yeah.
we know
We need
we
it
need stress.
first thing in the
We
morning.
need,
Yeah.
yeah. But at the end of the day, if it becomes chronic, that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Yeah.
what's going to have the biggest issue on stress when it becomes chronic, in my opinion, it's all inflammation.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's where it all comes down to. It's like, okay, what am I feeding my body? So do I need to focus on a low calorie diet, or do I need to address the main issue here? That's
Yeah.
what's causing the inflammation.
The
Now,
nutrition. Yes.
yeah. Now, when we look at what's going on at the moment, this is going to lead into this topic at the moment where we're seeing these carnivores, they're going straight, they're adding the carbohydrates back in because they're going
Yeah.
through all this.
Mhm.
And they're saying now that this is where I just can't get my head around this.
Yeah.
That these were carnivores in the past, and now they're saying that, okay, I've been doing this for over 16 years, but now I've hit a stall. I'm not getting the results that I want. So you're
Mm-hmm.
telling me that your A1C is high. In order to bring your blood sugar down, we need to add in more carbohydrates, more sugars.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you see where I'm going here?
Yes. Yes.
How can you tell me that we need to eat more sugar to bring our blood sugars down?
When that's just going to make the situation happen. And I think also that a lot of the standards that we have, like the A1C range of
Mm,
normality, is all based on people who eat carbs.
yeah.
It came before carnivores.
Mm,
And if that goes up a little bit, and Bickman says this too, that's not the end of the world for
no.
you. And
No.
if your blood glucose is slightly elevated, if your A1C goes up, it's not. That doesn't mean what it used to mean if you are a continuously ketogenic carnivore. It's
But
not
this
the
is
same
but
impact.
this is what I'm saying, and this is the reason why when you're going to see your doctor and you're getting the blood work, this is what we're seeing at the moment when
Mhm,
the average person, when they go and get their blood work done,
mhm.
the first thing the doctor says is your cholesterol is elevated too high. So they
Yeah,
panic. They're
yeah.
like, oh my God, okay, I need to listen to the doctor. I need to go on these statins. We're seeing the same thing now at the moment. If you're a carnivore and your H1C or yeah, it goes up, then what happens is the doctor's putting panic into you. He's
Yes,
saying
yes.
he's like straight away your blood sugars are
Mhm.
high.
Yeah.
Carnivore is not working. You
Yeah.
need to come
Yeah.
off the carnivore
It's
diet. I told you this all
old
along. The
school,
carnivore, all
old
school.
school information. Yes.
But
And
you
it's
need to
wrong
go.
for us.
But you need to go back and ask the question to that person before you come off the carnivore diet. Tell me how you feel.
Yes.
That's it. Just tell me how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
Like if your numbers were high at the moment, and I asked you the question, okay, your numbers are high, but tell me how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty
Mm-hmm.
sure you would tell me I feel fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like someone that wants to lose weight. You know what I mean? Where they're focusing too much on the scales.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at them, they look fantastic, but they're still worried about the number on the scales. And it's like,
Yes.
okay, do you not see where I'm going here? Like
Yes.
look at your pictures. You look absolutely incredible. Are you telling me that your pictures are wrong and you should
Mm-hmm.
be focusing more on the weighing scales?
Yeah. That's a whole mindset issue. That's apart from real health.
So
Exactly.
that's where the problem is. The problem is we're fear
Yeah.
mongering these people and thinking that this is the issue when it's not the issue.
Well, when we hear these people who were carnivores, long-term carnivores, like there's one particular, I think she's a dentist or a doctor, who decided to go back to having carbs. I did not see where she addressed other issues like um, lipotoxicity,
Yeah.
like omega-6 overload,
Yes.
menopause onset, or place in menopause, pre-menopause, post-menopause,
No.
and any other issues that might be concerning, or some kind of carb creep that she was doing if she was using artificial sweeteners.
Yeah.
There are lots of other things you can address before you just go whole hog back into carbs because that's your only answer. I
Hundred
don't think
percent.
that's your only answer.
100%.
I think
Because at the end of the day, I've always said this, that carnivore is great for healing, but there's gonna come a time when you're like 6 months into this or a year, and things are gonna stall, and this is where I feel you need to track. Because
yes,
when we hear at the moment that everybody needs to be on a high fat diet, I mean, Dr. Kill says this all
yes,
the time,
yeah.
that you need to be on a high fat diet to lose weight. Now, I'm sorry, I'm a massive fan of Dr. Kiltz's, huge
Yes.
fan. But when he
Mm-hmm.
talks about this, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Because I've
Mm-hmm.
seen this with people. They're on a high fat diet. They've been doing carnivore for a while. They feel great, but now they're
Mm-hmm.
not getting results anymore. They're not losing weight. So this is where I go against that. I'm like, okay,
Yes.
I need to see some blood work. I need to see some blood work here. So the first thing I check is the fasting insulin, the triglycerides. Now,
Mm-hmm.
if your triglycerides are really, really high, say over 100, that tells
Mm-hmm.
me there's way too much fat in the diet. Way too
Mm-hmm.
much fat in the diet. Now, that's only one part of the problem. I've had people coming to me that have histamine issue. We had Angela on a couple of weeks ago.
Yes. Yes.
Now, again, when we look at histamine, Angela will say this to you that she's incorporated organ meats, she's switched her meats to more lamb based. I see the same with the people that I work with. When I see people that have these massive flare ups, I don't say to them, okay, it's not because carnivore doesn't work anymore. It's just because maybe beef doesn't work for you. Maybe you need to switch it to lamb.
Or maybe you've healed to a point where your fat adaptability can be geared down a little bit because
Mm,
your healing has happened. It took me 8 months to lose weight on the carnivore diet after 3 years solid of 20 grams of carbs a day keto. And
mm,
I think that you get adjusted to certain levels of expectation. My fat went higher on carnivore, so I wasn't able to lose the weight as quickly. And
mm,
I adjusted it down and I was able to lose the weight.
mm.
And
Yeah.
I kicked out dairy too as well. That helped.
And see, when you look at what's her name at the moment, the woman that's at the moment that was struggling with her weight, Lisa Witterman, is that her name?
That's the one I was referring to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you look at her old pictures, she had a little bit of weight on her, and she
Yeah.
was really
It's tummy. Yeah.
she was
Mm-hmm.
really upset about that. Now,
Yes.
I don't know much about her. I'd have to speak to her about this, but apparently, okay, she kept these foods in. She had alcohol on the odd occasion. She had
Oh.
you
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? And again, I'm only guessing here. I'm only guessing. But what I'm saying is that there's always a way. We can always find a solution if you are struggling
Yes.
with your weight.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
from now, what I see with the women that I work with is if you have an awful lot of fat, especially on your midsection, that's down to insulin resistance. Now,
Mhm.
all we need to do here is we need to titrate the macros. We either bring the
Yes.
protein down
Yes.
or we bring the fat down. Now,
Yes.
when I look at the amount of fat these women are eating, believe it or not, I bring this down for like very, very low, like very, very low. The reason why I'm doing this is because I want them to tap into their own body fat so they can actually
Yes.
burn it at a faster rate.
Yes.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
And you
So,
have to do something. You have
yeah,
to make a change. You can't keep doing the same thing and expect to change. You have to
yeah.
change it.
So I have some women that are on a high amount of protein, like say 1.5, like 2 grams per pound.
Yeah.
And I have their fats like very, very low,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm still monitoring them on a week to week basis. I'm still saying to them like, how you
Yes.
feeling? Are you feeling good?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, yeah, I'm feeling good, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
also losing the weight. I'm like, okay, bingo, bingo.
Yes.
We don't need to change anything. Now, if they get back to me and I have them on a high protein diet and something like the Atkins diet, and they're saying to me like, Mark, I'm losing weight, but I feel horrendous. That
Mm.
tells me the fats are way too low.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because we have to make sure
Have
we're
to
getting
do
some
that.
sort of, we need to make sure we're getting some sort of energy coming in because we can't rely on protein as a reliable energy source.
But we carnivores are a case study in ourselves. We have no precedent. There are a couple of people who've been doing carnivore for 20 years, like that woman in the on the ranch, and we don't know. We need to fine tune what we're doing. We need to pay attention. We need to observe how it's impacting us. And if
Yeah,
we don't, we're fools. We're foolish if we don't. So we do need to become sensitive to that exact
hundred
thing that
percent,
we're doing.
100%. I mean, you can argue as much as you like, but at the end of the day, if you're not getting results, then you need to look at where we're going wrong. And
Right.
this is where I always have this argument with these carnivores because I'm not saying carnivore is not an amazing way of eating. It is, it's unbelievable. But as I said, there will become a time when things are not working anymore.
Yeah.
And what do you say to yourself? You just say, look, okay, I told you all along the carnivore diet doesn't work. No, you just find a
No,
different
no,
route.
no. It's not. If you as healthy as you can be, your gut is healthy,
Yeah.
your lipids are healthy, and the old school learning doesn't apply anymore. We're a whole new crowd, a whole new frame of
And see, the thing
reference.
is, like, the reason why I speak a lot about this is because I've done both. I've done the low calorie diet. I could get in shape easily being on a low calorie diet, eating carbohydrates. I could eat carbohydrates right now and give me like 6 weeks and I'll get in amazing shape. No
Mm-hmm.
problem.
Yeah.
That's not the issue for me. Is the issue for me is it the healthiest way of getting in shape? In my opinion, no, because I suffered a lot with my mental health in the past. I had an awful lot of inflammation. I couldn't recover as much in the after my workouts. Now I'm able to recover very, very quickly. Very, very quickly. My mental
Yes.
health is gone and I'm able
Mm-hmm.
to maintain weight loss very, very easy. And it's not just me. Everybody that comes on board with me, not one of them has ever said, I've never lost weight. Every one of them has lost weight. And I can tell you right now, every one of them have been completely different. So
Yes. Yes.
when I say completely different, is that like what Lisa's going through at the moment. She's been doing carnivore for a long, long time, and now she's hit a stall. I've had this all the time. I've had women come to me after a year of doing carnivore, and they're like, "Okay, Mark, I'm not losing any more weight anymore." And I'm like, "Okay, now we need to start tracking.
Mm-hmm.
Now we need to start tracking. We're bringing the fats
Yes.
down. We're bringing the proteins up. All of a sudden, the weight comes off. So
But
I'm showing them a different route.
sorry, I think we have to be careful because we mentioned the word lipotoxicity. We don't want to get rid of fat. We want to keep the natural animal fats in our diet. We
Yeah.
see those photographs of the people on the beach in the 1970s, and not a single one of them is obese.
Mm,
They were eating lard, they were eating butter. They had
mm,
some carbs, yes, but they had those fats in their diet. And the cholesterol was allowed to do its job. With
yeah.
the seed oils that we consume, the plant oils we consume nowadays, that's another
Yeah.
issue. A
Yeah.
lot of carnivores like to include avocado, olive, and what's a third oil that has a high rate of saturated fat. And I
Yeah.
don't care
Yeah.
how much saturated fat it has, it doesn't, it blocks cholesterol, and it doesn't replace cholesterol's functioning in the
Mm,
body for
mm,
healing and promoting hormone generation.
yeah.
So we need to examine really carefully what's going on,
Yeah.
because even Dr. Berry came out recently and he said olive oil is no longer a favorite child. We
Mm,
have to go with animal fat, and he recommends bacon fat. So
yeah.
we need to examine that part of the diet too. We don't know if Lisa's been using some coconut oil, was the one I couldn't
Mm,
think of. Yeah,
yep. Yep. 100%. Yeah.
it
That's the most
changes the
important.
game. It
Yeah.
changes the game for cholesterol.
The
Yeah.
most important thing is you need to ask the questions because we don't know.
Yes,
We're
thank you.
only we're only
Mhm,
guessing what this woman is
mhm,
doing. I would love to have
yeah.
this woman on our podcast.
Mhm,
I would never say to this woman, okay, what you're doing is wrong.
mhm,
I'm pretty sure the more I spoke with her, I know I could find the solution. The more I spoke with her,
mhm.
I would
Yes,
never say to
yes,
her that what you're doing is wrong, but you're never going to convince me ever that that how we're actually going to improve this and how we're actually going to make this better by adding more carbohydrates into the diet.
I
That's
think you
where I have
should
the
offer.
problem.
I think you should offer, because she's worried. Had some videos I've seen where she's upset that people are
Yeah,
angry with her,
and I've watched
and
them.
calling them
Yeah,
the hardcore people.
yeah,
But she needs some help, and I think that you're
absolutely.
quite the one to do it. And offer, please
Yeah,
do.
and I've seen a few comments from Eddie as well. And even though Eddie doesn't agree with her, he's still saying like, listen, if it works for you, fantastic. But what we're saying is that we would love to have this conversation with you face to face. That's it.
Yes,
And
yes.
let's just have a friendly conversation and let's
Hmm.
see if we can come up with a different route. Because at the end of the day,
Yeah.
we just want everybody to be healthy. And we all know that our food system is not the same as what it used to be, like, say, 50
Yes.
years ago. And
Yes.
we also need to
Exactly.
understand that if you are adding fruits into your diet, you just need to make sure they're seasonal. And they're not
Hmm.
seasonal year in, year out.
Yeah, and it's where you live and a few other things too. So
You know what I
how they're
mean?
grown. Yeah,
Yeah, I
really.
mean that's basically all it is. And this is where when we go back to what's his name, the guy that's speaking about oxidative stress, Zane, I think his name is.
Greg Zane.
Um, yeah,
Zane Greg. Zane
yeah.
Greg.
See, this is the issue I have with Zane. Um, if you're in a situation where it's working for you, that's absolutely fine. I have no issues with that.
Mhm.
The problem I have is you're absolutely convincing people that this is the way it should be.
Yes. Yeah.
When we look at
It's
Mark,
black and white. It's not
yeah,
black and white.
yeah. When we look at Mark Bell, I was a big fan of Mark Bell in the past.
Me too. Me too.
When he started talking about the sugar diet, I was like, no, hang on a second, hang on a
No,
second. No,
that was like, back up, stop, go
yeah,
the other way. That was like,
exactly.
wait a minute. No,
Yeah, and I'm like,
but
okay,
that's
Mark,
gone now.
but that's what I'm saying. Like, where is that at the moment? He was huge on this about 2 months ago,
Because
but
it's not
it's faded out.
sustainable, as people like
No,
to say about carnivore. It's not
yeah,
sustainable. It's a
and
joke.
see, the thing
That,
is, what I didn't like about when Mark did this was he should have kept this to himself. He should have said, okay, if I'm going to experiment this, I need to experiment this on myself.
yes.
I'm not going to
Yeah.
convince the world that this is
Mhm.
what you need to do, because what you're doing is you're misleading people. That'd be like me. That'd be like me for doing that. That's been doing carnivore for over 5 years, and then all of a sudden I go on the sugar diet, and I'm convincing people, okay, I can eat sugar and I can still lose weight. People are going to be like confused straight away.
And he's not normal. He does a lot of workouts, and they're very strenuous. And it's not for mainstream people to look at the
No,
sugar diet as something
no,
that they can use as a tool. No, it's just not. And it's very unfair to people, and unkind even, because they'll just go off. They'll go off, and then they're off the wagon.
yeah,
It's the end of it, and they have to pick up the pieces and figure out what to do next. And they're all confused. It's
yeah.
almost irresponsible. It is irresponsible
It
to
is
do
there,
that.
100%. Because at the end of the day, you have to factor in what people do for a living. Now I don't know what this Zane Greg guy does for a living. I have no idea. I only see him on social media. But he
Yeah.
could be he could be like a millionaire. He could have a great lifestyle. He could be able to train
Mm-hmm.
whenever he wants. He could be able to sleep whenever he wants. And I think
Mm-hmm.
this is important. I think people need to understand this, that just because you see somebody on social media and it works for them, that doesn't mean it's going to work for you. You look at the
Yes.
you look at the average person now. The average person works from say 9 to 5. They've got family life. You know what I mean? So when you put those two
Yes.
factors together, that's going to cause an awful lot of stress. Now, when
Yeah.
you add that stress on, say you're under eating, you're going to the gym, you're doing too much cardio. Are you reducing your stress? No, it's
No.
actually going
No.
up. It's going
Yes.
up.
Yeah.
Now, this is what I see in the gym. Okay, people are going to the gym first thing in the morning. All right, they're going into the gym and they're killing themselves. They're doing their workouts. They're doing an hour. So what they're doing is they're banging their bodies into the ground. That's causing way too much stress. You're putting a lot of stress on your body. Now
Mm-hmm.
you need to think about it like this. You're going from one stressful environment into another stressful environment when you go to work.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
if you're stressed here and you're stressed here, guess what's happening to your blood
Yes.
sugar?
Mm-hmm.
It's going
Going
straight
up.
up.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where I say to people, I'm not saying that you should not train, but what I'm saying is you don't need to do as much as you're being
Yes.
told you need to do.
I understand that's your approach. Yes.
You know what I mean? This is why
Yeah.
I believe, just this is only my personal opinion. I believe low volume works for the average person.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if
Yeah.
you're
That's
like
what I do.
if you're like a Paul Saladino or you're
Mm-hmm.
like a Mark Bell, then you can do
Mm-hmm.
whatever you want. You can do as much volume as you want because you have the lifestyle to go for a walk, go for a sleep. The average person can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
You see
Yes.
where I'm going here?
Exactly true.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Exactly true.
it's like they're on the go. They're on the go from literally first thing in the morning to probably around 7 o'clock in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Uh,
10 hours of stress.
I'm hoping this whole carnivores go back to carbs thing dies out like the sugar diet, because they're gonna be, when if I cheat on carnivore and I have some sugar, I get depressed and
Mm,
anxious.
mm,
I can feel that. I feel achy in my shoulders and my arms, like I'm getting
mm,
the flu. I feel sick. I feel ill. It's crap. I
mm,
don't want that anymore in my life. I
mm.
don't need that. That's what I got away from and worked really hard at, to be carnivore, to feel better, to feel good in my body. And I think that they're going to start, it may be slow they may start slow with the carbs, and it may be a low curve, but they're going to feel it. They're going to be sorry, and I bet that they reduce and come back. But I would love to see you speak to Lisa Wiedemann. I really would. I
If
I
I
think that's something you
if
should
I
do.
asked you the question, Victoria, you said to me that she's quite upset now with the comments and things that are going at the moment. Do you think that she's in that mindset at the moment of all this negativity that the carbs are actually helping her or hindering her? Because that's where I feel if you're adding
You know,
carbohydrates in, that's when your mood changes. Because I know
it's a
if you
red
said
flag.
yeah,
Absolutely.
because if you
Mhm.
said to me now all these negative comments, I wouldn't give a shit because I feel
Yeah,
good.
yeah. Me neither. I don't care, because I'm carnivore and I'm happy,
Yeah,
and you do your thing, I'll do mine.
yeah.
But exactly the observation that she needs to hear is that the very fact that she is anxious and upset is a
Yeah.
presence of carbs in her diet. And, she
So
may
you're
not
not.
like to hear that,
So
but
you
I
know
think that's
that,
true.
but that's what I'm saying though. If you spoke to her and said this to her, she would convince me that that's not the problem because she's an addict.
Yes, yes, yes,
She's
yes,
brought them back in. She
yes.
doesn't understand. She doesn't understand it. How can
Well,
someone like
yes.
me, who has never touched a carbohydrate in 5 years, like
Hmm.
feel great? You know what I mean? I know it. Put it this way: if I added in carbohydrates tomorrow, and I had this conversation with you again tomorrow, my
Hmm.
temperament will be completely different. I'd be
Yes,
anxious.
absolutely.
I'd be
Yes.
anxious. I'd be letting things get to me. I'd be getting emotional.
Mhm.
Now,
Yep,
is that
yep.
is that because is that because it's just me, or is that just because maybe I've just changed my diet? I
You've
believe
changed your
that I've
diet.
just given
Absolutely.
because what I'm doing now is I'm giving my brain sugar. I'm not
Yes.
thinking. I'm not thinking properly here.
Mhm.
Does that make
It's like
sense?
being drunk. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're off kilter, and you know because you've been a sugar addict, and I have too. You
yeah,
know, all everybody on
yeah.
this bus is a sugar addict, so we know the difference. But I think that it's true that her judgment may be clouded by the very thing she thinks is saving her. So it's such a vicious cycle. Vicious. It's
And then
nasty.
when we go back to what we said at the very beginning about the optimal state, what is it? Is it more ketosis, or is it more like just adding fruits and run off sugar pretty much? Now we all know we can't run off sugar because it doesn't make us feel good, but we can run off glucose because your body can produce glucose itself. Your
Yeah.
brain can
Hmm.
produce glucose if you just give it the right food. We don't
Hmm.
need to get this from external sources.
Exactly.
So so when we look at the carb metabolism versus the non-carb metabolism, which is gonna benefit you in the long term? What's gonna be optimal in the long term? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
that's why people have to get past that carbs or
Hmm.
that addiction. That's why Mark Case talks about this all the time. That if you've been damaging your body for such a long time,
Hmm.
you can expect the same amount of time when your body needs to heal.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's not
Yeah.
going to happen
Mhm.
overnight. I can tell you
Yeah,
right
it's like
now.
making that one.
Yeah, I can tell you right now. Like I said, I've been 5 years into this.
Mhm.
I am still healing. There's no doubt on my mind.
Oh, me too. That's the cataract story for me and my
Yeah,
husband.
yeah,
We're 5 years into it, and all of a sudden the cataracts are gone.
yeah, yeah,
It takes time. It
yeah.
really does. And you have to give it time and consistency. You have to be consistent.
100%. You
Yeah.
can't just give up on the front and say like, okay,
Yes.
I've been doing this for, because I think she mentioned that she did it for 16 years.
Yeah. So
16. It's
I don't
like
know.
how can you do a diet for 16 years and now you're convinced? Now, as I said, I don't know much about her. I've only just seen her
Yeah.
recently. I'd have to watch the
Mhm.
videos and see what she's all about. But it just doesn't make sense to me that you've
Yeah.
been carnivore for 16 years, and whether you've been telling people that this is the best diet, I don't know. But it just doesn't make sense to me how you've been able to reduce the inflammation, you've been able to bring your
Mhm.
insulin down, your blood sugars down, and now you're convincing people that in order to bring your blood sugars down, we need to eat more sugar.
No, that makes no
It just
sense.
does it
No.
doesn't make any sense to me. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. It
Yeah.
won't make it will never
And
make sense to me.
no, and all the research that's going on now, that there's a huge, tremendous surge in ketogenic research, and it's not what's coming up on the registers.
Mm,
That's not how it's working, and
mm,
that's not how you get rid of metabolic stress.
mm. Yeah,
So that's so unfortunate, and I
yeah.
really think you can help her, and I think she just might take your guidance,
Well,
and
at the end of the day,
let's
all you can do
move
is just
some
reach
noise in
out to
the
the
direction.
all you can do pretty much is
Yes,
try and reach out to these people and just try and have the conversation. Because I'm not saying that everything that we just spoke about for the last half an hour. I'm not saying it's everything's right. Like I like having these conversations with people. If I'm wrong, then I want to have a conversation. I want you to tell me why I'm wrong. Because
yes,
at the
yes,
end of the day, I'm still learning. You're still learning. But from what, but how can I explain this? But when I look at what I've done in the last say 5 years, and I've worked with a good amount of women, I think I have the knowledge and the
yes.
expertise to understand what goes on
And the
in the female
experience,
body.
yes, and the
Yeah,
proof.
yeah.
Proof is in the results, and the
And
results are there.
that's all I'm saying. Like you can't just convince me that I've worked with menopause women in the past. I've been able to get them in amazing shape, but you're just one
Mhm.
out of a million people. It's not
Mm.
going to work for you.
Yeah, I think it's a cry for help, and she may have to forgive me for saying that, but I think it's a cry for help that it's not working. I quit. Then no,
Yeah.
don't quit. Don't be a quitter
No.
because
No.
this is the greatest thing we have found to date in terms of diet, an advancement in diet and health. So don't give up the ship.
And see what happens is because we've been sprouting about this now for the last couple of years, it's people like her and Greg that are going to give it a bad name now. People are going to
Yes,
jump. People are going to
very
jump all
sad.
over.
True.
People are going to jump all over social media and say, "I've told you, I told you, I've been telling you this for
Oh,
years."
that's terrible. Because people are so addicted to sugar. We truly are. From infancy, we're so
Mm,
addicted to sugar that we can't in our minds rationalize not having sugar. So
mm.
it's so easy to fall into that trap.
Of
And
course it
it's
is.
it's like Alcoholics Anonymous. We're always in recovery.
Mm,
We are always recovering and always holding that line. And carnivore makes it so much easier to do that, to get rid of the cravings.
mm.
But apparently, it really doesn't go away completely, 100%,
No.
especially in older adults. Younger
Mm,
people, maybe it's much better.
yeah,
But for myself, I know it's there and I know it's there,
yeah,
but I know it's there. So I
100%.
can deal with it. I can deal with it.
Yeah. And I know, like you, Victoria, that if I was to have a piece of fruit right now, I would instantly notice the side effects
Yeah. Yeah.
straight
Yeah.
away.
And start craving right away more. And it would just set you off. Even if artificial sweetener does that, does
Mm,
it to me,
yeah.
it makes me crave sweets. So
And
yeah, it's
and and when we go back to the stress, the one thing about the one I've always said this about carnivore. The one thing I'm taking out about carnivore at the moment is how relaxed I am. Now
yes.
I used to be so anxious about stuff, honest to God. I used to let small things get to me. I used
Yeah.
to be depressed.
Mhm.
That's all gone now.
Me too. Me too. It's
It's
gone.
all gone.
I was terribly anxious for years on medication. Medication didn't do much help, and on
Yeah.
sleeping pills, and it was really bad.
And when and
Yeah.
when I and when I every time I do a post on my Instagram story, I always
Hmm.
talk about mindset. Always.
Hmm.
Because I believe that if you switch your mindset to just believe and have that belief in yourself and just have that positive energy and just be around people, be around winners, that's when you make the
Hmm.
biggest progress. When you have negative energy in your life,
Yes.
that's going to cause stress to go
Yeah.
up. That's going to cause cortisol to go up. It's going to cause blood sugar to go up.
Exactly.
So it all comes from the mindset because everybody's gonna be judging you, no matter where you go. Everybody's gonna
Yes.
be like, okay, you're not gonna get there. You're never gonna get the results. You should do this. You should do that. You should do this. You should do that.
Yeah.
That's where we're going wrong because we're listening to too many voices.
And those voices are carb eaters, and they
Yeah,
have those issues.
and
They
I
have the
all
anxiety. They
yeah,
have the depression.
and I
Mhm.
always say to the people that I work with, you're not listening to anybody else. You're listening to me. Don't
Yes.
listen to
Yes.
family. Don't
Yes.
listen to friends.
Wisdom.
Don't
Wisdom
listen to
right there.
yeah. Don't listen to carnivores on social media. You came to see me. You're listening
Hmm.
to me. If you don't get the results
Yeah.
in 3 months, then you can say to me whatever you like. But if you get the results from me in 3 months, well, then you know fully well you made the right choice. So
Yes.
then we just keep going. That's it.
Yeah. That's very true. And unfortunately, we have to put ourselves in what is called an echo chamber of carnivorism, because the outside world, I mean, I can't even deal with my family. Last night I went to dinner at my son's house and I brought my own steak and he
Mm,
cooked it on the grill for me. That was nice. And I was showing him our channel for Carnivore Evolution, and I showed him the video about the man who cured his retinosa pigmentosa,
yeah, yeah,
whatever, I can't pronounce it, blindness. And he goes, "What did he do? Put meat on his eyes?"
yeah,
And
yeah.
I said, "No, no, there's just no understanding. There's zero understanding about the
Mm,
nutrition. So you
mm,
really do need to deal with people who get it, who are
yeah,
living it.
yeah.
If you're living it, you know it, it's there and it's true for you.
Mm,
But no, we're not rubbing meat on our eyes."
no, no. And the minute people start questioning why you're doing it, that straight away that's negative energy.
Yes, yes, you don't
Straight
need
away.
that. And I just
You
I
don't need
just
it.
turned that right off. That was
And,
no
and
thank you.
yeah, and it's the same when people turn around and say to me, when you hear it all the time, you can lose weight just by eating carbohydrates. Again, I just switch off because
No.
I'm not gonna allow
Mhm.
myself have this conversation because it's not gonna go down a good route. So I know
Yes.
I'm not gonna allow myself to get angry over something stupid
Hmm.
because
Exactly.
you're not gonna win the argument. You're not gonna win the
Yeah.
argument. It's that simple.
I wasn't
So
angry. I was disappointed in him because I
yeah,
raised him and I know he's
no,
a
I'm just
smart
saying when
man.
people no. Yeah, yeah. No, I'm just saying not you. I'm just saying when people talk to
Yeah.
me, I usually just
Oh,
walk
in
away from it,
general.
and I just say, you know what, I can't have this. I can't have this conversation with you because I
Yes.
know it's just not going to go in.
But it's still out there and it's still our mission to get rid of all that.
Well, that's all we have to do, and that's the reason why we had this podcast today. Because, like I said, you know as well as I do, the trend at the moment is we're seeing so many carnivores going back to carbohydrates, and this is where we have the big problem here. We're never going to agree with this. Um,
Mhm.
we're all big fans of these people in the carnivore space. That's not the question.
Mhm.
I'm a massive fan. Like I said, I'm a massive fan of Dr. Kills. He's taught me an awful lot about metabolic health. I don't know this woman, Lisa. I've only just seen her on social media,
Mhm.
so that's why I don't want to say too much about her
Yeah.
because I don't know
Mhm.
much about her. I would like to have that conversation though. But there are other carnivores out there at the moment that are preaching the same stuff. That if you're struggling, just add in more carbohydrates. Um,
Mhm.
and I'm glad we'll be having the conversation with Amy later on because I was watching the
Yes.
messages underneath Lisa's post.
Mhm.
And this is where I was a little bit confused because Amy was actually agreeing with her. Now I can see where she's coming from, that if something's working for you, then you should keep
Mhm.
doing it. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. But that's like, okay, if I'm not getting results losing weight, then I should go on a GLP-1 injection. Now, Amy is huge against
Is
these
it
GLP-1
against that?
injections.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
Well,
what I'm
this is in the
saying,
same column as that.
it's
Yes.
the
So
same
we're
column.
going
You
to have
know,
round two with
yeah,
Amy.
and
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. I'm not. I don't want to have like an argument with Amy. I respect Amy, but you can see the divide there. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And there's a lot.
Yes.
And if you look at the majority of the comments under Lisa's post, they're all carnivores, and they're all
Mhm.
saying whatever works best for you. If it works best for you, then you
Yeah.
go and do it. But they're not saying what we just had. Like, do we need
Yeah.
carbohydrates in the
It's not
diet?
going to erase anything.
It's not going
Yeah.
to raise anything. Maybe you look fun. She looks fantastic. Don't get me wrong. I've seen the pictures. She looks incredible. But is it going to work long term for our health? Maybe it will. Maybe me and you could be wrong. We don't know. But
Yeah.
from what I've seen is what you've seen, it can't work long term. It just can't. Eventually, it's going to catch up on you.
No. Yeah. That's the wrong way. It's the opposite way.
All right. I think that's it. Now I think we've covered it. I think we've covered it a lot on that one.
Yes. That was really good. And we'll talk again later today. And thank you very much, Mark.
No problem, Victoria.
Bye bye now.
Bye bye.